The Tobago Heritage Festival is the brainchild of renowned Tobagonian anthropologist, the late Dr. J.D. Elder. This festival, which started as a pilot project in 1986, has since mushroomed as a staple on the Tobago cultural landscape and has become what Carnival is to Trinidad. This festival, which showcases the best of Tobago's culture, is held annually for 2 weeks, beginning in mid-July and climaxing on August 1st. Each year, the festival centers around a different theme. The general idea behind selecting themes is to allow each village an opportunity to depict its cultural traditions and unique heritage. The following are villages and aspects of the Tobago Heritage Festival. The Mariah Old Time Wedding is described as one of the marquee events of the Tobago Heritage Festival. It is held on the first Saturday of the festival and usually commences at 1 p.m., although by tradition it starts later. It is a theatrical performance that depicts several costumes and rituals observed by Tobagonians in the days of yore. This was a time when gentlemen wore top hats and coattails, and the ladies were adorned in bustle gowns and petticoats. The bride is adorned in her lily-white gown and dances through the streets as she walks beside her gallant husband, bedecked in his jet black coattail jacket and matching trousers. While not being the focal point of the event, the spotlight also shines brightly on this couple. They led the procession in a fancy carriage, and the master has the honor of delivering a hilarious verbose speech that leaves the audience in stitches. The Mako or busybody is a comical narrator whose sharp tongue and good-natured bobs educate the spectators about the various traditions that take place. The wedding party comprises young ladies and men decked in their Sunday best. The ladies are topped off with floral hats, while the escorts carry umbrellas to shade their partners. The coal pot is carried on the head of a member of the bride's family, signifying that the bride can cook. Breadfruit is also carried on the head of a family member as an ode to the Bible verse, "Be fruitful and multiply." Bridal trousseau. This is carried in a trunk expertly balanced on the head of a family member. The trousseau contains articles the bride will bring to the marital home, including 2 white pillows fastened to the top of the trunk. Traditional music and dancing. The tambourine is a musical instrument indigenous to Tobago and is played while the members of the procession dance through the streets. Dances include the heel and toe, the jig, and the bush track. This is commonly referred to as the pulling of seine. It starts with an early morning wake-up call procession of villagers. It starts around 5:30 a.m. and participants are dressed in traditional fisher folk wear, dancing through the streets, backed by music trucks and steel pan and the blowing of conch shell. From Black Rock, the procession makes its way to Corlan Heritage Park for the blessing of the boat and the much anticipated pulling of the seine. This involves almost everyone joining in to pull the huge net. All the fish that is hauled and caught is shared among everyone around and is often used to make a delicious meal which is shared among the villagers. This is held in the village of Pembroke. It is a spiritual festival involving song, dance, and the offering of gifts to the ancestors. Tribute is paid to the Igbo and Congo people, who were the early inhabitants of Pembroke. Fruit, food, and gifts are prepared and symbolically offered to the ancestors. Pembroke is referred to as the cultural capital of Tobago. Dancing of the Cocoa. This is when villagers don old clothes adorned with dried leaves. They dance on top of cocoa beans in an out-of-commission cocoa house to the sound of local tambourine band. Dancing of the cocoa is done to get the beans as shiny as possible to be ready for the market. The washerwomen. Washing of clothes in the river was common back in the day before the washing machine was invented. Village women would bring not only their clothes but also food to eat and the gossip of the day. While the washing by hand was a tedious exercise, these women would pass their time by also sharing a meal as well as talking about all that was happening in the village. The bati mill. While in our local dialect, bati refers to the butt, the bati mill is used to describe a contraption used to extract juice from sugarcane. It is operated manually and usually takes hours to extract the juice from the sugarcane stalks. This is highlighted by the singing of mixed folk songs, the lighting of candles, and the burning of incense. Tobago's folk tales and superstitions are deeply influenced by West African and French Creole traditions. Among the most popular of the Tobago folk tales is that of Gangasara. She is described as the African witch of Golden Lane, who was blown from a home in Africa on a stormy night in the 18th century and landed in the village of Lekoto. From there, she journeyed to Golden Lane in search of her family, who had long been transported there as slaves. Gangasara was the loving wife of Tom, whom the legend says she had known as a child in Africa. After Tom died, she tried to fly back to Africa, but had lost the art of flying as a result of eating salt. To this day, the names of Tom and Sarah are inscribed on two headstones in Golden Lane, where the legend claims that they have lain side by side for over 200 years. While this pageant showcases the beautiful women of Tobago, it also celebrates their natural abilities. This event has been evolving annually and helps young ladies develop their creativity and industry. The Tobago Heritage Festival has not been held for the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. While the Tobagonians are hopeful that it will be staged this year, the announcement by the new Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly has declared that Tobago will be hosting its own Carnival celebrations in October, which has put the Tobago Heritage Festival in doubt. Whether the island has the capability of staging two mega events so close to each other, thus far Chief Secretary has remained silent on the subject and no other official has offered any comment. It will be a pity if this festival, indigenous to the culture of Tobago, is shelved to accommodate Tobago Carnival. It is just for the population to wait and see what happens. Avellon Williams, AEM's report.